a swami sort of a thing. We get together the Ouija board, and I contact old actors from the great beyond. We'll try that later on the show. But this is gonna be a great show. What's gonna be? We got the great guys here. They're already yakking about what's happening in the news right now, and we got stuff about. We're gonna be talking about comedy and all the formats and all that stuff, and old stories that can just come out of the pores of one of our guys, Sam. Anyway. What we're gonna have is gonna have Mr. Mark Sweetman as your host. Come on right now and talk about things that he wants to talk about.
You're killing me. Talk about things that he wants to talk about. Hey, this is Mark Sweetman. Stay with us, Andy. I'm gonna bring you right back out here. I just have to do some adjustments here. And hold on just a second. I just have to. There we go. Now you're back. Okay.
Oh, great.
All right. So this is Andy, my co-host, and he's also my very personal Santa Claus.
There we go. I'm a personal Santa Claus. I don't do home gigs, but I will do your local mall.
Oh, good. Have you got your gig for this year yet?
Yeah. It's in the heart of Taylor. It's the Southland Mall.
Okay. Hey, before we get so you'll be local anyway. So before we get to any further, I want to do this at the beginning because I know we have a lot of viewers that stay with us at least at the beginning, and I want to get them. I want you to click the like button on the YouTube page and hit the subscribe button. And if you're not watching this on YouTube, you can go to YouTube, and there's the address right there, youtube.com/@theoffnight. Go ahead and give us a subscription. That's going to help us with our numbers, and maybe we could start to monetize this thing a little bit. Let me see what else I got. Oh, here you go. If you're on YouTube, that's the address you would go to watch the show. The YouTube that I sent you to on the last one, that's where you go to subscribe. You can also get to this here. If you go there and it's the homepage, we don't always have it up on the homepage live. There's a live button. Hit that live button, and you'll be able to get to this link. If you're not watching it on YouTube, like if you're watching it on Facebook or something, go ahead and enter that address in, and you can add comments, and we put them up on the screen once in a while. You've seen that before, Andy.
Oh, yeah.
When we do get comments, we'll do that. Here's another one for you. If you'd like to join us, this doesn't get you on the show automatically, but what it does is it puts you on my feed. I'm the creator of this content through StreamYard, and this will put you on a page that's just underneath what you're seeing on the screen right now. Well, what I'm seeing. If you were on my window, you'd see a smaller version of what you see on your screen. And underneath it are all the players that are in there. Right now, we have Susan and Sam and Jason ready to come in. It's just Andy and me. But that's the address right there if you want to go on. If you come on there and I recognize you, I'll probably send you a message to confirm that it's actually you and not somebody trying to sabotage our show. And what else do we have here?
Yes. We're on the radar of the Chinese and the Russians as they're trying to destroy this this thing because it's creating such havoc in their intelligentsia. So
anyway, I'm going back to the subscribe page, see if we can get some subscribers. Well, anyway, so we are going to talk about the Lions. Andy, did you go to the game this weekend?
I did not go to the game this weekend. I actually drove listening to the game. Oh, I had a guy in the back with a TV, so we sort of I tried to watch the TV once in a while. We almost went off the road, but
I get
bring
that.
It forward, back, But it was a fantastic show. It was a fantastic, all the Goff did a great job. Hutchinson did a great job.
Oh, we could talk about let's talk about that when we get Andy and Jason on the show. But we have Susan. We have Susan.
Want Sam and Jason. I'm on the show already.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sam. Sam and Jason. Let's get to Susan because she's got the newsworthy poem. For about the last 2.5 years, she has provided verse at the beginning of our show with news headlines. So let's bring Susan out here and give her the spotlight, and she'll give us her poem.
Hi.
Oh, nice.
You're worried about somebody sabotaging your show, but you do such a good job of that yourself.
Oh, so supportive. Such a supportive.
That's my job.
She's just a fan of David Letterman, and she knows how self-sabotaging works to your favor sometimes.
Well, she should do a tie wiggle once in a while,
Yeah, it works to your favor. Great, hon.
Yep.
Somebody who makes hundreds of dollars a decade. think you're up to 12 subscribers, 12 followers.
Wow, I guess we're out of time for that poem.
Like Jesus, 12 followers. Yeah.
Hey, good.
All right, here's your poem. An attack by the militants came without warning. Hamas fired into hostages. Israel is in mourning. The Palestinian militant group rules the Gaza Strip. Israel declares war. Time for all to get a grip. The war in Ukraine continues as Russia continues to strike. The Kharkiv region is hurting, but not giving up in the fight. A totem pole returned to its ancestral home. You should know. Taken from the Nisgaz nation about 100 years ago, it has been on display in Scotland since the 1930s. Now back in Canada, this ends the theft and discourtesy.
All right.
There's your news.
Oops, nice. I added the wrong me. Hold on here.
The wrong you.
I added the wrong me.
That's what I mean. You sabotaged without any help.
Hey,
did you like the poem? So I thought Mark would be proud that I got the poem done very early this morning. And then he said, oh, I have news stories I was going to send you. It's like, too late, done. Hey, I work full time. I only get a short break. So the poem's the poem, and you're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Susan. Appreciate it. You going to stick around?
A minute.
Stick around and say hi to, Ned. Looks like Ned's out there too. Can you hear us, Ned, when you're on like this? Can you hear us? Oh, he can't. All right. So everybody, Sam and Jason, you guys can hear me too? That's good to know. All right. Well, let's bring Sam out. And hello, Sam. Good to see you.
Hi,
always
Sam.
A pleasure. Susan, anybody who can rhyme 30s with discourtesies, or whatever the hell it was, gets my. I thought I was good. I did a poem. It was the official song for the B'nai B'rith Youth Organization, and I rhymed circle.
That's pretty good.
It was let's join hands in friendship circle with the Lord's help and some love and some work will. Work will is what I did. Circle and work will.
Work will. I like that. That's
work will show. It was the corniest, most unfunny song. I was embarrassed, and they loved it. And it was the official song of that group for 40 years.
Oh wow!
All right. Well, you own the copyright, and you should probably get it officially.
No, it's to the tune of Zena Zena, which is an old Hebrew melody. Which means we're out of pumpernickel. So it really.
It's your poem. You own the copyright.
Well, let's get the rest of the gang out here.
I'll tell you what it did for me. It got me a date with Joan Lewis. That was the best.
Wow.
Got that going for you. All right.
I don't really remember much about her now. Her name was Joan Betty Lewis. She was born August 10th, 1949. Her father was Milton Lewis. He lived at 12815 Kemper Lane in Bowie, Maryland. But other than that, I don't remember a thing about her. I mean, it's been years.
Pretty inconsequential relationship, I guess. Huh?
Hi,
like her and Joan Braverman.
Yep.
Hi.
I thought you said Ned was on the
show. It's like Joan Braverman. I barely remember anything about her. She lived at 1630 45th Street. Her father was Louis Braverman, who worked at the Commerce Department. Her phone number was 333-1889. And she lives in Northampton now and on 805 Fruit Street.
All right.
But I don't keep track.
All right. The gang's all here now. All right.
Ned.
Hi, Ned.
Hi, Ned.
First things first. I did not know Morgan Copeland. Anybody know Morgan Copeland? You did?
No.
All right. Give us the memoriam for Morris Copeland. Since we're a bunch of old comics, usually it's older comics that we're talking about. That
Morris Copeland?
Morgan Copeland. He's a Detroit comic.
Was he a comic?
Yeah, he was a Detroit comic, and he passed away since our last.
A Michigan comic, I presume.
Yes.
Yeah.
When did he pass away? I think I saw him on Facebook. Like he just posted something recently.
It was
I hope he posted it quickly.
It was in the past week.
Wow.
he was a new guy, but he was charming and funny and unfailingly kind, and he always made me smile whenever I saw him.
Do you know how he passed?
I don't, but it sounds like it wasn't of natural causes.
How old was he?
Could have been more than 40.
Maybe 30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was very young.
Wow.
And he had recently celebrated 4 years sober, so it could have been a relapse or it could have been something else.
No.
So it's pretty sad. Pretty sad.
Yeah.
Sometimes, depending on how
I think
this abuse was,
Oh, there.
it
We're losing your-
could
we're
to
losing-
the effects of
We're
that.
losing Sam.
Sam, your sound's going in and out again.
Yeah.
So,
It's the cumulative effect, perhaps, of his
yeah, I can't.
Ah.
where the hell am I? Oh, there.
Yeah.
Cumulative effects of what he went through that perhaps killed him.
Possibly,
Yeah.
or it could have been a new thing, you know.
Well, I'm sorry to
Yeah,
hear
little-
that.
Yeah.
They go,
I don't
they
know
go
if we
back.
ever went-
that's
Mark,
the.
did you
that's-
ever see him at Unclub?
No, he had never made it to the Gun
Yeah,
Club.
I don't think he did.
He hadn't been in it that long.
No, but I saw him a lot. He was, I saw him at Canton Brew Works many times, and New Way and a few other Trixie's. I saw him quite a few times.
What were some of his jokes?
He talked a lot about being biracial,
Okay.
and it was pretty funny. It was mostly about being biracial and getting sober. He was a newer act. He didn't have a giant act, you know.
Okay.
I thought he was very charming on stage.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we'll miss him.
That's always a tough thing to do.
Anyway, so enough of that.
And do you remember Franklin Wilson? Anybody?
Who's that?
Franklin Wilson?
Franklin. What did he pass away too?
No, he moved to Las Vegas this morning. So
Oh, okay.
Well, he died, he died there.
That's like
He's going to die
that's
there.
like dying.
It's very similar.
no, he was a good friend of mine
Yeah.
in the in the scene here in Detroit, and he decided to move there to take care of his mother and so on.
Ah.
So
Okay.
he'll be missed.
He'll find Las Vegas has a very friendly scene,
Good.
particularly once you start working.
I
You mean
found it.
comedy?
I lived there for 3 years, and I found it a very easy city to live in.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, that's nice.
Oh, well, yeah. You know, the thing is, people always thought, you know, if you think about New York City, no one who lives in New York City ever visits the Statue of Liberty or the Empire State Building. No one who
No.
lives in Las Vegas ever goes to the Strip, ever.
Right.
You know, if you want to gamble, they have satellite casinos all around the city,
I've
Yep.
never
all around Vegas. So, you know,
I've never taken the Ford factory tour.
No, but we
Well, I
visited
can't
Hiram
because-
Walker in Canada.
I've never been to the Motown.
yeah,
Museum.
I can't take the Ford walk tour because I'm Jewish. You know, as soon as they said I'm sorry.
That's too bad, Sam, because there's a whole exhibit about you people. It's pretty
In fact,
amazing.
the name of the
I believe
exhibit is
I believe the exhibit is called "Those People."
Yes,
All
I
right.
learned a lot.
Good to see you all. I'm going to say
Thank
goodbye.
you.
Bye,
Oh,
sweetie.
Take care.
Susan.
See what you did, Sam.
sure one anti-Semitic remark and she splits.
You
And
ran
she's
the
gone.
one woman
That's
in the
it.
group.
That's it. No, you could come. You could come.
Although they did have they did have his pen pal letters to Hitler.
Yeah. You know what? You should come every summer for the annual piling and burning of the International Jew newspaper. You know, so
It's gotten very touristy.
they're very touristy.
It used to be
Very
really
good.
people who cared.
You know, the first time I
lot
heard
of
the
MAGA
expression,
hats. A lot of MAGA hats at the torch.
the first time I heard the expression "international Jew," I thought it was like a compliment, like James Bond or something. You know,
Like the Cosmopolitan,
I'm
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah.
like the
I
Continental.
really, yeah, like the hip heeb or something like that. You know? But
He had sort of a James Bond air.
Did you become? Did you become?
Well, you know,
Did you become international? No, Jew.
Ah,
Oh. Oh.
Oh, I
Agent Oi Oi 7, you know.
Oh,
I'm just gonna silently.
Agent
sit here.
00695.
Agent Oi Oi 7 in the new thriller Matzo Ball.
No.
Hey, a lot of people have been asking about why Ned has not appeared as much recently, and I just figured out why. He had to grow the beard so he could be in the hair club for Chin.
The House of David.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the
Exactly.
House of David show.
The House of David.
Aye.
I
What
wouldn't
beard are
think
you
Ned
talking
needed a
about?
beard.
I
He's
just
our
wanna-
shortstop. Ned. there we
Okay,
go.
I want to be Sam for Halloween. All right, my secret is out. What do you think?
It'll take practice.
Okay, well, it doesn't come easy.
All right, what are we going to talk about first, Gaza or the Lions?
Oh, the
Gaza.
Lions. Okay.
All right, talk about the Lions. Okay. Well, I know
Gaza.
Sam.
We can talk about Gaza. Let's talk
Pick
about
your
Gaza.
tragedy.
Oh, we lost Sam here.
Oh dear.
Good, let's
Sam?
talk about him.
He just didn't
Can't-
drop the screen. He dropped from the entire.
Can't we get him on the iPad somehow, or that?
Well, you weren't. Were you here when he talked about why he couldn't get on the iPad?
He said something about his daughter not being particularly
Yeah,
thrilled with
He
him
said
right
something
now.
that he said something that upset his daughter, and that prevented him from asking for her help.
Oh dear.
So,
Well,
she's
it's not that hard. You hit the click link and it says open in Safari, and then you're in. But well,
Well,
okay.
that's what she said.
Yeah, like you ever heard that?
Ah,
Hey, all right. So I got up and I did a joke. I was going to start a joke off, and I said I was going on a date program for over 60 years old people. It's like
Yeah.
and I was just and they laughed at that.
Right.
That
Well,
wasn't
there
the
you go.
punchline. They just laughed at him dating anybody.
Well, I was
hey
on a
Jason,
dating
I have a
site.
question.
Yes, sir.
Do when gay dudes are talking, do they say that's what he said? When someone does a double entendre?
Oh,
No.
Okay, that's weird, isn't it? Strange. Wouldn't you think?
you would
No,
think.
we're usually saying something like, really, 5.5 inches. Oh, around. Oh, okay.
No, but
yeah,
I'm
that
saying
makes
when
sense.
a straight guy hears an unintended double entendre and he's
Right.
not funny, he'll say that's what she said.
He
This
said.
she is this mythical she.
Yeah.
But if you're a gay person, you would more likely say that's what he said.
Well,
more likely he would say that's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Right. Well, you
was
have
awesome,
to understand
yeah.
that's when you're hanging around with a bunch of limp-wristed Nancy sort of faggot Twinkie boys, and that's
Nancy
never
boys.
really been my
Nancy
ooh.
boys.
I'm more like hanging around with the guys who just got off duty at the oil refinery and maybe need to come back to my place for a quick shower and a massage before they go
trade.
home. Yeah, before they go home to their frigid girlfriend who doesn't know how to do what I know how to do, and only I can do it better. And after that, we can watch the hockey game together. And don't
'Cause we're
worry,
straight.
I'll never say, does this make me look fat because I'm 300 pounds? I know what the fuck I look like, but that doesn't matter. We can make each other squeal like pigs, and everyone's happy.
That was more
Perhaps
than
I shared too much.
That was more than I anticipated you would
Perhaps
say.
that was yeah, a little.
when Jason
see-
Jason watches the Chicago Bears, it has nothing to do with the stadium.
Well,
All right.
Well, the Chicago
Jason, I
Bears.
know you hear this a lot, but that was quite a mouthful.
Yeah. Again, an expression you've never heard. So there you go. Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa.
Advantage, Mr. Voller.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
thank you, Ned Pencil Dick. What's your last name again?
Hey!
Bryce. There you
That's
go.
not funny.
Okay.
Pencil dick.
There you go.
You stop that right now.
Okay.
Right this minute.
The last time I saw something like that, it had an eraser on the end of it.
Yikes. Wow, burn.
Oh, burn. Hey, I can
You've
go into the
bested me
7th grade.
again.
I can go into the 7th grade locker anytime I want, or whenever they cut the little box off my ankle and they can't track me anymore. So,
Maybe you don't say stuff like that online, but okay, great.
at this point, does it matter?
It doesn't
Does it really
matter.
care? Am I running for office? I
You're
mean,
on so many lists now, it doesn't matter.
you're right. Lindsey Graham can be a senator.
Oh,
Doesn't that tell you everything you need to know?
yes.
I mean, Lindsey Graham, Chuck Schumer together
Or
at
that guy in
last.
New York, the congressman.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, at
Who
least
made up all
he's
the stories.
amusing. At least he's fun. At least,
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Like Rob Ford back when he was mayor of
Yes,
Toronto.
he was awesome.
Getting caught smoking crack, and it's like, yeah, I blew cocaine up a hooker's ass. Yeah, so what? What do you? Well, I didn't use government funds to do it, mostly.
No,
you know, I mean,
yeah, are we talking about Gaza?
I think
we will be,
because
yeah,
when I saw the killers coming in on those paragliders,
yeah,
I thought, what are they going to think of next? Guys doing stand-up paddle boards,
well,
like Uzis, and then like high-fiving each other and doing a shot.
I find myself a little bit split because I despise these wretched monsters with every fiber of my being, but they were shooting down hipsters. So I'm like, okay, I'm split.
It was at their version of a fire festival.
It was a hipster rave until I saw one of the girls who was featured in that video being shoved into a van, and then they showed her with her bloody backside, and then her corpse being paraded around the streets of Gaza.
Yeah,
and at that point, I realized Israel has nuclear weapons, and it's high time they use them.
Yikes! I'm not sure.
Sorry, guys.
That.
Yeah,
I know. I'm sorry. I've been reading a lot of stuff around the 50s. We've been building nuclear weapons since the 40s. Only used them twice. I'm feeling a bit cheated. And there's a way that we can do this and just put an end to this to this shit forever. However, others don't see it my way, which is probably just as well. Not since Curtis LeMay walked the earth. So,
does anyone think the hostages have any chance of being released?
I don't.
I don't either.
They're dead.
I think
so too.
I think there's good. They'll be used for whatever they can use them for, and then they'll kill them. I don't.
In all seriousness, what you need to do is
these are Nazis.
I'm sorry. What, Jason?
These are Nazis. These are people.
Yes.
They took a guy, and they said, "Is this your brother?" Yeah. Bang, and blew his brains out in front of his brother. These are Nazis. This is a level of cruelty that we haven't seen since the 40s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was texting with a friend of mine who sells real estate in New York, and he's a dear friend that I met back when he was in school here at the U of M. And one of the things I said is it's the world's oldest hate, Jew hate, and it's let loose again. And I grew up. I was born in '61, obviously after the war, obviously. But I had friends whose parents had that fucking tattoo on them. And so for me, I've met people who went through this kind of, and to see it come around again. I mean, I still remember the '72 Olympics. I understand.
In Munich.
Yeah, in Munich. And when the Germans did their level best to save the Jews, like I think they put their coffee down, or didn't they? I can't remember. Before the Black Septembers did what they did, and of course everyone blamed Israel because why I'm not sure. For some reason or another, when you have a tiny slice of a aging empire that's slivered off and given to one set of people, it's a horrific offense against history. But enough about the establishment of East and West Pakistan. Let's talk about Israel for a moment. Ever since Balfour, this has been cooking, and let's not forget it was our dear friends the British who set up most of this.
Well, that's what happened. The British told the Arabs, because there was no Palestine. The British told the Arabs, they said, "Listen, if you help us defeat Germany, we'll give you some land." And then they helped them defeat the Germans. And then the British said, "Oh, wait a minute, those are stinky, smelly Arabs. Ew!" And they left and ditched them. And then Israel, had the world on its side because of all the people who came to that part of the world were escaping Nazi Germany. They were transplanted people, and so the world was on their side. But here's the thing: if we didn't rely on oil, okay, they would have no power.
But we do. We do
rely
on oil. We do,
and
you know what?
And not just the United States, the West,
the world, and here's
Europe,
not just us.
All of them.
We have enough oil. We have plenty of oil off the coast of the United States.
We exported more oil last year than we did import it.
We don't. we don't need to put up with this anymore. We haven't needed it. We put up with it because the oil is relatively cheap and convenient.
Remember
yes, that is
when
the United States. What
when
Europe still
Khashoggi, I'm
relies
sorry,
on
what?
that. Europe still relies on that oil. So does Asia. So do parts of South America. So it's not
Fuck
just
'em.
about the U.S.
How about
When
that?
when
Fuck 'em.
Khashoggi was dismembered and
Yeah,
they
by the
asked Trump
Saudis.
about it, you know what his response was? Well, we do a lot of business with Saudi Arabia because that fat
Yeah.
whore wouldn't care if they
Yeah.
dismembered his daughter. Well, his daughter he'd mind, but if they
Well,
dismembered his son, he wouldn't give a shit as long as he was
But it
making money
was-
off of it.
But it was his son-in-law who helped get the Abraham Accords signed, and those accords are important. And the fact of the matter is, Sam, you were absolutely right when you were saying that the Saudis they don't want the Israelis and the Saudis to be in concert with one another, to even have just sort of a peaceful relationship, not even a friendly one, just a peaceful one.
Just a civil
it's-
one. That's right.
Just a civil one, and it's the Iranians who are fermenting this. There are Arabs within the Middle East who are sick and tired of this shit too. They're
Lots
like,
of
we're tired of these fucking people.
But they don't have
causing
power.
so goddamn much.
You're
No, they
talking,
don't.
Saudi Arabia, wants the Nobel Peace Prize because they let women drive. So, they're not at the top of the aren't we great list either.
They have 10,000 inbred members of their royal family conveniently cornholing each other on a regular basis on American-built 747s, and nobody buys weapons like the fucking Saudis.
See, you say cornhole, I say family picnic.
Well, growing up as a hillbilly, Sam, I'd have to agree with you. That was kind of one of the deals. Yeah. Like thinking, well, never mind that though.
If the Arab states ally with Israel, Palestine is
over for Iran.
And that's because we're more afraid of Iran than we are of anyone in the Middle East.
I'm
Why?
sorry.
Why are we afraid of them?
Because
is there
they're the
anyone
most
who's
likely
besides
to-
me whose volume
they're
is
the
not
most
good?
likely-
Hold on. I gotta
can hear everything.
I gotta hear the answer to my
I can
question.
hear
Why
you.
are we afraid
Iran
of
is-
them?
saying that?
Iran is the most likely to launch an attack against the West, and they've made it absolutely clear that their goal is to level the state of Israel.
Oh, they
And
would be
with
Northern
4 or
nations
gone.
5,
If they did that, they would be gone. Why would they do
with
that?
That's
4
what
or 5,
They do not behave in a
B-16
rational way. They
Yeah.
do
with 4
not
or
behave-
No,
5
not at all.
B-61
Not at all.
nuclear weapons dropped on Iran. We can turn them. We don't even have to turn them into a glass-covered parking lot, which I'd like to do. What we can do is we can take out most of their infrastructure in a heartbeat, so that they can't do a goddamn thing.
Why don't
The
we?
B6
But why don't we do what I think is the smart thing, and just level all the bombs that you need. You don't need to use them all. On that, that the United States knows where the power structure in Iran is located, where those
Absolutely.
people live, where those
Yes, they
people
do.
are. That's
Yeah.
what you do.
Look at how
Right, well-
look at how we pinpointed their people the last few years. They were able to. that
Surgical
one guy they got
strikes.
at the airport.
Yeah,
They
Thank you,
dropped a
President
bomb
Trump.
on Yasser Arafat's tent,
right.
Mhm.
his tent. Okay,
And let's not-
so if they can
let's-
drop a
the
bomb on a
Iranian
guy's
military-
tent,
the American
they can
military-
certainly
the head of
drop
the-
a bomb.
Yeah, but the head of the Iranian military got bombed at the airport just before
Yes, he did.
Trump lost his election.
Yes, and let's not forget that President Peace Prize had no problem droning as many people as necessary, because you know what? Much as I don't like the guy, he understood that these people were enemies, that they were a problem, and he pushed the button. And if there were 14-year-old American citizens in the way, too bad. They got splattered. That's what
Of whom are
happened.
you speaking?
There was a gentleman, his name escapes me right now. I can look it up. He was 14 years old. His father was a member of a fairly radical organization. They were in Yemen when his dad had been killed 2 weeks before.
No, but who are you
Then the
talking
kid
about
was
who
actually
bombed
killed.
him?
He's
Obama.
talking about Obama.
Look at Obama.
That was President Obama.
Oh, okay.
President Obama holds the record for most people killed by drones. That's President Obama.
Yes, he
President
does.
Peace Prize.
I think it's in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Hats off to it. Hey, look,
if you're-
again, I give the
If the
man
majority
credit for
of your
having the
army is
clarity.
14-year-olds throwing rocks, there's not much else you can do about that.
The man had the clarity of vision to know that these people use children and women as meat shields, and you have to shoot through them. And
Yeah.
he's clear enough to do exactly that. Hats off to him. I ain't got to kiss the guy's ass to when he's right, he's right. Even Jimmy Carter, who pissed me off plenty, made some good decisions. And when they're good, Jimmy Carter is the guy who gave us the cruise missile, the rebuilt B-52, and the B-1, or excuse me, the B-2 stealth bomber. That's James Earl Carter Jr. who did that, not Ronald Reagan.
99 years old.
With prostate cancer, the bastard is still alive.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Not for long.
Yeah.
Well, we've been saying
They've been saying that for
he's
3
in
months,
hospital.
Ned.
I've been
Okay,
losing
all right.
the under.
We'll see if he makes
ages.
Christmas. I doubt it.
Do you remember what they did in National Lampoon?
What's that?
They caught so much hell for this. They did a what do you call it? I don't know what you call it, but pick the day that you think Mamie Eisenhower will die.
Deadpool.
Deadpool.
Oh.
Yeah, the Deadpool. Yes, pick the day that you think Mamie, and
Mhm.
I was off by 3 days. I was very upset.
Obviously, you're in league with the devil using the Ouija board or whatever bit of equipment for the sort of
No,
sorcery.
I sent her a whoopee cushion. I thought the noise alone would kill her. But it turns out that that's the sound she normally made, so it wasn't like any big surprise.
Made her feel right at home.
You're as bad as Ron White when he talks about he went a little too far once and he started telling jokes about doing Mamie Eisenhower in her trachea tube.
Oh,
Oh my
yeah.
God!
And then
Oh my God!
Ron realized that, hold on, this was a bridge too far. And he has since refrained from doing that material. So
Yeah.
that's
I'm just picturing the apology, the
definitely-
wording of the apology.
Yeah.
If I offended anyone who's been tracheotomied,
who's been violated in their trach tube.
or has any kind of compromised breathing apparatus, I certainly regret it.
Well, I just wished frankly, I wish we had something competent like Edith Wilson running the country right now. It would make me feel a little better. At least she understood how to handle her vegetable husband and kept the country rolling for 2 years. The same could not be said for the shambling
Plus, we
corpse
could
in
pay her
charge
less.
presently. Well, 40% less, of course,
Yep.
but.
Yep.
Oh God! Another Edith Wilson drop. So yeah, let's go back 110 years.
Edith Wilson.
Another Edith Wilson reference.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I feel like we should have laughing belly dancers with pink on their
Yes.
stomachs,
Holy on.
Da, 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 da.
I don't get the millennials watching. There you go.
Da, 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 da.
Hey, I've got some great Mrs. Lincoln jokes coming up too, man. These will absolutely kill you. What was her name?
You're the youngest one of us here, Jason. You should not be doing Wilson jokes.
And the fact I'm right about them is
Jason the youngest of us?
Jason's
Yeah.
the youngest of all
Oh,
of us.
Yeah, I'm all of like 62, and
I mean, I know who the oldest is, but
Yeah, we do too.
What you were in 61? What month?
August.
Oh yeah.
August 23rd on the anniversary of the Molotov von Ribbentrop.
August 23rd.
Yes,
That is my niece Robin's birthday, and ironically, she's gay.
Who's
As
birthday?
anyone who's born on the 23rd of August is
they're all gay.
obviously
They're all gay.
they're
23rd, that was
all
just-
gay.
And happily
was
married
National
for
Gay Day.
32
It is.
years.
Anytime you're born in a prime number, you're gay.
January
I'm-
2nd,
I
speaking
should know my
Is
birthday.
this the Chinese New Year? Is that what we're talking
Right.
about? Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
I have the worst
all
possible
the
birthday
oxen
you
are-
can
are-
have.
What is your birthday?
what's that?
January 2nd. Do you know how many times I've heard this phrase? It's for both.
Oh my God! Oh! That's like nowadays in Uberland they say we're going to tip you on the app, and it's like, yeah, I'd rather hear you say you're just going to put the tip in. That would actually be a little
Exactly.
more comforting. I would trust you more if you said
Leave
that.
the tip.
But don't
Yeah,
people typically want the babies born closer to New Year's so they can use them as a tax write-off and not actually have a baby in the house?
No,
Being
no.
born on the second
I'm
was
the
a very
youngest.
bad financial move on the part of your parents.
I'm the youngest of 5. My brother is 20 and a half years older than me. My sister was 19 years older than me, 11 years older than me, and 8 years older than me.
Okay.
So
Oh,
my
dear.
theory is that I'm the product of a hate screw.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or a grudge fuck.
Yeah.
You remember that great joke from Richard Lewis? He said, I was dating this woman. She was really hostile. really hostile. During orgasm, she said, "Take that."
Oh, Richard was great. He was great.
I do remember my dad washing vomit off the side of the house near the window where their bedroom was, and I asked him what was up, and he told me to go talk to my mother, and she said last night after they got home from the bar, Pop decided to take his marital privilege as she was heaving out the window. And
Oh man,
man.
that is all class all the time.
The most specific Pornhub category ever.
Yes.
See, I was 14 years old at the time.
Puke fuck.
Window puke fuck.
Window puke.
Window. Who wants to see?
Well, now that's specificity for you.
I'll take window puke fuck for 200.
For 200. It's like you
I'd like to make it a true daily double.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, it's an audio daily
What is the
double.
most obscure category you got on Pornhub?
Oh my God, this is going on stage next week, guys. Okay, this is going. Ned, if you do this before me, you're a dead man. Okay, this is my stuff. I'll give you guys credit for helping me punch it up. I mean, it's just a miracle that the house I was born in didn't have wheels underneath it.
It is all yours. You earned it, friend.
Yeah, don't ever.
I'll only do it on the road.
Yeah, you know what though?
I won't do it in town.
Okay.
That's my stuff south of the Ohio River. That's
okay.
Well, that was like that thing they did on Seinfeld when they said that Putty, took Seinfeld's sex move.
Oh,
and he said, "Well, no, Jerry said I could do it when he's on the road."
The swirl.
That's funny.
The swirl.
That's
It was
very
the swirl.
My God.
Well, it's good to see that I've elevated the conversation once again. I always feel good knowing that I've added
on you.
erudite, well-educated.
You didn't have to do any nudging to take us to this level, so don't feel too bad.
Jason, that's why your nickname is MacArthur Genius Grant.
Exactly.
You knew that.
Yeah,
That's what we call you behind your back.
I've heard you call me many things behind my back, and lots of that gets back to me, as you know, especially because Blaine Drews tells me all that stuff, and I say, if you don't tell me, Blaine, I won't take it out. And
that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Have you seen what's his name? Gaffigan, James Gaffigan's Gaffigan's Walmart ad.
Yes, I have.
No.
Very funny. He goes, you can go traveling with your family or with people you like.
They would have, if Robert Schimmel was alive, would he be doing Walmart ads? I think no.
No. Do you know what his AOL name was?
No, tell me.
Sei Gesund.
God, I love Schimmel. He told the most horrific jokes in the world, but everyone who talked about it said he was actually one of the nicest people they'd ever had the pleasure to meet.
Oh, he was a doll. And had the worst luck medically with family and himself.
And then he had cancer. And when hearing his story about his father, when he was ready to give up, and his father, who again been a Holocaust survivor, brought his kids in there and said, "You tell that to your children here." I mean, just talk about made of fucking steel.
Yeah.
I mean, just
wasn't it Schimmel? There was a Showtime comedy special.
That was him. Yeah, I know.
And there were two guys who preceded him, and he got on stage. Is this right? And he went, "Is it me, or did those last two guys suck?"
Mark, did you know him?
I knew Bobby Schimmel very well.
And
really,
he's a very nice guy. All these comics.
Nice guy. One of the things he was famous for was if he would look at the schedule of the comics that were coming up after him on the calendar, and he would write notes to the wait staff for the guys to look out for.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys,
I saw him. I forget it was a club in. It was a club in Colorado. It was the Comedy Works in Denver.
Yeah.
And he was there, and the week after him, it was Ellen DeGeneres, and I middled for him at the Comedy Works, and thanks to him, I then headlined after that because he was so nice. He kept telling them, you really ought to let this guy headline. He really, blah, 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 blah. It was very sweet of him. But next to Ellen DeGeneres' name, he wrote, why?
Hey guys, question. Is it better like the headline sort of locally, like for a comedy castle, or is it better like middle if a big comedian says, hey, I want you to come out on the road with me.
Yeah.
You'll be my opener. You know what I mean?
It's always better to headline.
Okay.
Yes, Mark. True.
I'm gonna disagree with that in my instance. and
What?
I'll tell you. No,
Son of a bitch.
listen to me. I'll tell you why. I was working at the Comedy Castle from 79 till 82 before they started paying me. Once they started paying me, I jumped right up to the middle spot. I jumped past the opener to the middle spot. So in that sense, it kind of worked to wait off. But once I started middling, I was middling with Bob Saget, Dave Coulier, Paul Reiser, Jay Leno.
Let me edit my response by saying, if you're working with really top-notch people,
yeah,
then yes,
Okay.
Yes.
it's better to middle. Yes.
Yeah.
But
So
if you're working
anyway,
with a
Mark,
guy
now
who
there
just came from working, opening for Benny Banana and the Bunch, playing music with appeal, then no.
Let me finish my story though.
No, please.
Because I moved out. I went out to LA in '84, and at the same time, Van Gunter, Sheila Kay, Bill Thomas, Tony Hayes, Leo DeFore, and Andy, help me out with some of these all these
Art
people.
Carney,
Eric
all
Tunney.
these- Eric
Edith
Tunney.
Wilson.
Yeah, all these people were trying to go out there, and they were doing. Oh, Tim Allen. They were doing killer sets here at the Castle and all the other clubs because you could make a living in Detroit doing comedy. If you middled or even a middle could make a living, but I wasn't getting the headline spot, so I said I got to go past this. Well, guess what? When I got out to Improv and the Comedy Store and the Comedy Laugh Factory and the Comedy and Magic Club in Hermosa Beach, Ice House, Igby's, all those places, when I walked in, everybody knew me because I had worked with them. They didn't know all those people that were headlining because when they came to Detroit, they weren't middling, they were headlining. So they only knew the middle act. So
That's interesting.
in that sense, I had a heads up on all those people. Geechee Guy's another one. Geechee Guy and I both went out there at the same time. Nobody knew us in Detroit except for the headliners who had come to town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the club owners weren't
But
promoting
that's what
us.
matters.
And what really matters is who is the gatekeeper out in California. So I got, I can't remember his name now from the Tonight Show. Jim
Bedore,
what's
Jimmy
that?
Brogan?
No,
Tim
not
Bedore.
Oh,
the other
no.
guy.
Oh,
Carson,
Jim.
Jim, not
McCauley.
Jim McLean. Jim McCauley.
Yeah.
So
Oh, Jim
I knew,
McCauley. I thought you said Tim. I'm sorry.
No. So I knew Jim McCauley, and when I was out there, that was the only one. There wasn't a CBS show and an ABC show. There was only NBC and Jim McCauley.
No, it was just
That was
there's
it.
just that one.
And every once in a while, Frank Gannon from the late night show from New York would come out there, and so I got to know. So these people I all knew. I got an audition in New York at Catch a Rising Star with Frank Gannon way before all the other Detroit comics. None of us got the show, but at least I got the audition before they did.
And that's because you worked with those big men.
And that's because I was doing the middle in the Midwest, and I never, even when I got in at the Improv, I never headlined that one either because it was always when people came to see you at the Improv or the Comedy Store, they didn't want to see your half hour or 45-minute set. They wanted to see your 6 or 7 minute set.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, and so once I got to LA, then I could go out and I could say, hey, he works at the Improv, he works at the Comedy Store. I could do that out in the flyover country because that's where I would make my money. Then I would come back and do my emceeing or 6 or 7 minute sets at the Improv and the Comedy Magic Club and all that kind of stuff.
You know where else that's true, by the way, about what you're talking about, making more money in your hometown? Boston.
Houston was another one. Houston was
Boston.
a great town.
Absolutely. I know there were comics. I'll use Kenny Rogerson as an example.
Yeah, well,
You could offer him a Letterman spot. He wouldn't leave town.
He started in Chicago and moved to Boston for that. Paula Poundstone moved to Boston for that.
Yeah.
Paula
what is
Pounce
it?
and guys
Bob
like
Ga-
Lenny Clark and Steve Sweeney.
God,
You know,
Lenny
Bob
Clark.
they make so much money
and he
in
moved-
Boston. I mean, it's staggering what they make.
Dennis Leary.
And Mike Clark, who runs this club Giggles, is Lenny's brother.
Yeah.
And you know that
Took an
you know,
act- I took an acting.
I think at that club he makes he's the booker. He's the booker part owner. He makes $5,000 a week.
I took an acting class with Lenny Clark out in
How was it?
on Hollywood. It was great. I tell you who was in this class. We had me, John McDonald from Chicago. Do you remember him?
Mhm.
Sure.
Lenny Clark, Pete Potofsky. I don't know if you remember him or not.
He didn't teach the class. You took a class with him
No, I took a class with him. We were all students in this class. The
because you
teacher
were
was,
starting to terrify me.
Yeah, the teacher was Ellen Gersten, who had done
I've
nothing
heard
but
of her.
Yeah, she's pretty well known out there. She teaches. I think she probably still
Who?
teaches. Ellen Gersten.
Okay.
Her biggest roles were what was the Helen Hunt Paul Reiser show? What was the name of that one? Mad
About You.
She had like a recurring role on Mad About You. She didn't have the same role on Seinfeld, but she did about 3 or 4 where she played different characters. A lot of actors did that. You know, once you got in with that crew, they could always find a different part for you. And if it had been a few seasons apart, nobody remembered that you played that other person before. You know, just change the hair color or something. And she did. I'm trying to think of what else she had done. She directs films, and mostly makes a living doing the film festival circuit. If you can make a half-hour film and get it on the film festival circuit and get it an award somewhere, they've got overseas markets that buy these things up. I don't know how many. Andy probably remembers Gary Hardwick, right?
Oh yeah.
Gary's out in LA. He's my writing partner. He started with the talk show host, the guy who has MS. Can't think of his name now. Montel Williams. He started with Montel Williams. And that's when he found out that those shows were scripted because he became a writer for them.
That guy, Montel Williams' brother.
Anyway,
I was on a late night show with him that lasted, 5 weeks. And he might be, I can't remember his name. Oh, annoying brother of Montel Williams. That was his name. This is a late night show, right? It's supposed to be like, 4 comics sitting around. I'll give you $1 billion if you can tell me what the first topic was. Give up? Good. Ready? Prison rape.
Oh.
You
So
guys say that like
Montel
it's a bad
Williams'
thing.
brother says to me, and he doesn't know me. I haven't opened my mouth. I haven't said a word. He goes, what's your name? Sam? I go, yeah. I go, and I started to say something to him because I knew his name. And I said, hold on for a minute. All hell's breaking loose.
Oh no.
I said, listen, he said, what would you do if you were in prison and Big Bubba has his eyes on you? I said, excuse me? He said, you know what I'm talking about. If someone wants a little chunk of that little thing you got, and I went, let me ask you a question. If Montel Williams wasn't your brother, what shift would you be working at Burger King?
Hey now.
And he hunched his shoulders all up and said, oh, you think that's funny? I said, well, it's funnier than suggesting that I'm going to be raped. I said, the last person who raped me was my agent, but that was only monetary. And the audience laughed. And now he's pissed because the audience laughed. So during the break, he said, let me tell you something. I went, no, you can't. No, you can't tell me anything. No.
Don't tell me anything.
Don't tell me anything. Don't. And so I say to the host of the show, who's this British girl, very pretty. I think the expression for how she got this job was, what is it? Take a knee. And so she comes back and she says, try not to aggravate. Well, I'm going to guess his name, David. Try not to aggravate David. I said, try not to aggravate him. Fuck him. Are you kidding me? What is he, a star by osmosis? What are you kidding? So we come back on, and now the subject is I don't know, crop rotation, shit, I don't know. But he's glaring at me, and I just, I thought to myself, I'll never be back on this show. Even if I was great, even if they loved me, I'm never going to be back on this show. I don't want to do the show again. The money, it was like $900, which amazed me. The money was pretty good, but they're never going to have me back on. And he's glaring at me. And I
go back at him.
Yeah, of course. So I said, why are you glaring at me? He goes, I think you know why. I go, I'm not good at guessing. I don't. I don't. He says, well, you made a fool of me. I said, no. Don't you dare give credit away. Oh, no. Oh, no. No.
No,
So
dear.
there's another break. And he says to the producer, and this was the highlight of the night for me. He says, I want him off the show. And the producer says, do you? Let me see. No. No. He says, listen, man, grow up, okay? He got the best of you. Grow up. And so
roll with it.
He was just an idiot. And so we come back, and just before we come back, he says to the producer, I'm never coming back on this show again. And I said to the producer, if I were you, I'd get that notarized.
That writing.
So he did
can't imagine
everything
hitching my
but say, I'll
star.
see you outside. Everything but that.
I can't imagine hitching my, if you're going to ride coattails, why would they be Montel Williams?
Yeah, be grateful. Just, be happy to be there and kind of be jovial and good natured and, Jesus Christ. But which reminds me, whatever happened to Vance DeGeneres?
Yeah.
He wrote a book. I think he did. I think he was a staff writer at a few other places.
He was Mr. Bill, wasn't he? Wasn't that Mr. Bill?
No, Ellen's brother.
Well, he was on The Daily Show.
Ellen DeGeneres' brother was a writer, and he and Ellen had some kind of falling. They had a parting of the ways, correct?
Yeah.
Well,
can you imagine that, having a bad time with Ellen DeGeneres?
That is
was
amazing.
that when she was still a human being, or had she already sold her soul to Satan by then?
I think she was still a primate, but
okay, okay, all right.
You're guessing, aren't you, Ned? You're guessing.
I'm guessing. I'm not a doctor.
She
there it
hadn't-
is.
she
I said it. I'm not a physician.
She hadn't taken the mark of the beast on her breast yet, and
No.
buckled at the teat of darkness.
You couldn't actually see your tail yet.
Okay, that came later, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
You
Vance
say you
was,
couldn't see it.
Well, you better
Vance
not tell
had his
anybody
like
you can
5
see
minutes in the spotlight. He was also gay, and I think he said some bad things about Ellen. And you're right. He was on the Daily Show for a while. I had not seen his name in the media for many.
Did you say he was gay?
You surprise.
Was he born on the 23rd of August?
Weren't we all? I think so. I think he was born on International Gay Day. Yeah.
I thought
Now,
it
I
was just the
wanna
Peter Buffers.
Now I want to be born on the 23rd of August.
Well, I tell you what, if you were Sam,
make
your
a few
closet
calls,
would be in
Sam.
a lot better shape.
I'll see what I can do.
Your shoes would all be stacked up properly. Your outfits organized by color and by era, and just if you never need anyone to come over and help you with your closet or to dig a few ditches down in the basement, let me know.
If I was going to pick a gay birthday, I think it would be the 12th of Never.
And that's a long
That's
time.
so much more arty.
Yeah, tell you about it. But you wouldn't have had anywhere near as much head as I did, so there's that. But
I take your word for it.
You'll take more than
And
that
every
if we ever
time
get in the same room.
you laughed, you'd hear Johnny Mathis in the background.
Chances are.
Yeah, I just went to my Unclub database, and Morgan Copeland did appear at the Unclub on July 17th, 2022.
Wow.
Both you and I were on that show, Ned, as was Andy and Jason.
Really?
The lineup was Jeffrey Scott, Morgan Copeland, Sue Sweetman, Ned Rice, Jason Grant, Blaine Drews, Andy Jensen, Ethan Everhart, Joe Weigel, and Nathan Corliss.
Well,
July
Line.
17th.
I'm genuinely sorry when we lose someone so damn young. That really is a pity.
Yeah, but I tell you what, he went up.
This is a little off the subject.
Second. He went up
I'm sorry,
second in
please.
the third week in July, which meant he had the sun in his eyes as he was performing.
Oh,
That is true.
This is a little off the subject, but I saw this thing on Facebook. Did you see it with Eddie Murphy? A little interview he did.
About
He
what?
said that when he first started, he was working at Dangerfields, and Rodney was there. And he said when he first started, he was real dirty, and it was all racial, and Rodney was there, and he said he didn't even talk to him because he just knew he wasn't that funny. He just didn't want to have Rodney shit all over him. And
right.
so Rodney goes up and does his act, and I'll tell you, and all that, and then. He said then Eddie says, now 3 or 4 years pass, and I get Saturday Night Live and Beverly Hills Cop, and things are going really, really great. He said, I'm in Caesar's Palace, and I'm in the men's room, and I'm taking a leak, and Rodney comes into the bathroom, and he's standing next to me taking a leak, and he looks over at me, and he goes, who knew?
Hey, if you guys can tolerate one more digression, I just wanted to bring up one of my least favorite weasel-faced closeted Peter Puffers. That would be Representative Matt Gaetz.
Really?
I really don't like that guy.
Matt Gaetz said something though that surprised me. Matt Gaetz said something that surprised me. He said it would be worth losing his seat in the House if it meant getting Kevin McCarthy out as Speaker. And on that note, I agree with him.
Well, you see, it's because of guys like that, the Republicans are the stupid party, and someone like him should have been put in his place a long time ago, including some of the JPEGs cavorting with some of the boys he picked up around various beach houses around Florida. I know he's known more for cavorting with the little girls. He's probably one of these kind of guys who will fuck anything that'll slow down for him. And there's a lot of that down in Florida. Ned, I think you know that.
Hey!
Well, the two guys that they have up for Speaker now are two guys who would not okay a Biden's election. Scalise is a guy who got shot in the head by a mentally deranged guy and then okayed a law that allowed mentally ill people to own guns.
Yeah.
Well, he got shot in the head by a Bernie bro.
Yeah. Or Journey.
It was a Bernie bro who also shot Rand Paul and some other folks. So, credit where credit's due. These were followers of Bernie. And Sam, you remember how the Bernie bros fucked Hillary Clinton in 2016 because they couldn't get their way. Now, he got fucked.
Yep, absolutely.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. He got fucked on that. But you know what?
Absolutely.
The nominee was Hillary Clinton. You shut the fuck up. You hold your nose. You go to the polls and you pull the lever. You don't do that.
Oh, by the way, I don't know
bad.
if you saw this. Robert Kennedy, this is great news for Biden.
He's
Robert Kennedy is running as an independent.
Right, and he's going to siphon votes off Trump.
Yeah.
There's a lot of overlap.
Because he's going to get more Republican votes than Democratic.
He will.
I think I'd give up my seat in the House if Debbie Wasserman Schultz kicked the shit out of Matt Gaetz. I think I would give up.
I would like to see the two of them in a mud wrestling match.
I interviewed her. I interviewed her 7:00 in the morning. She's got her year-old child with her, and the kid is crying. Now you can't blame the kid because she's a little because her mother is a shit. No, you can't blame the kid. The kid, you know how kids do baby talk?
Yeah.
All I could hear the kid was going, "Help me. Help me." So sad.
He was blinking torture. Was that it? He was blinking
So I
torture.
wrote a note as I'm interviewing her, and I said,
Please
"Give the child to your assistant. Give the child to your assistant." And she gives me a look like, "Fine." And then later she went, "I'm really sorry. I'm dead." It was 6 a.m. this interview at the Capitol. She said, "I'm really sorry. I was tired. You were right. I should have just handed my child off. I'm very sorry." I said, "Listen, you got a brand new baby. You love your kid. I understand it. Next time I'll toss that fucker into a wastebasket. So don't feel like you did anything wrong. But I don't like kids that much, and I'm not crazy about you. And by the way, it's 2000. It's 2009. Perms, no. So,
Well, boys, we've done it.
The Nobel Peace Prize nominee, Sam
Thanks,
Greenfield.
fellas.
Stick around, Ned. We talk after the show. We do a little post-production.
I'm actually going to go to sleep so I
We're
can pee in
We're
bed.
back every Monday night,
Okay, Sam.
8 o'clock, 8 to 9 here on the Off Night YouTube channel.
Ned, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Sam.
Subscribe,
Same here.
like,
Same
link.
here.
We'll see
Good night.
everybody next time. Good night.
Take
night.
care, kids.